Hello and welcome to Finding the Right Fit. I'm your host, Sally Stats, for this evening's matchup. I'm ready to find Jenny some fine piece of correlation. Let's meet our girl. Hi, Mom. Welcome, Jenny. We're here to help you find your perfect fit. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, typically guys find me annoying for the weirdest reasons, so I've never really had a boy toy, and I'm so excited to shop for some good correlation. By the way, gum is my favorite meal. It substitutes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm also a superstar model, so who wouldn't want to be the perfect correlation for me?
She's right, folks. We must find her the perfect fit. So let's bring on our diverse correlation men. Here comes Shaquan, bad correlation. Here comes Kyle, fairly average correlation. And now here comes Spencer, perfect correlation. We're going to start with having each man get a chance to say something about themselves.
So, my name is Shaquan. I'm on this show because nothing in my life ever seems to line up anywhere near perfect, and everything is always so scattered. I'm hoping that the motto will be all mine.
My name's Kyle. My life isn't perfect. It never lines up perfectly straight. But it's still close. I have some scatter in my life, but overall, I live a pretty average life. So I'm hoping for a girl who can make my life perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Spencer Fitzgerald III, and my line lines up perfectly. Nothing in my life is ever scattered, and my life is way more than just average. I would be the perfect fit for any set of girl data thrown my way.
We have our bad correlation, our fairly average correlation, and our perfect correlation. Which one will Jenny choose? Each one of these men have something that makes them unique. Shaquan is a bad boy who is really into partying hard. Kyle is more of an average guy who is really into playing sports. Mr. Perfect Spencer is nerdy with a high IQ and GPA. I am now going to hand out envelopes that matches each man's interest.
Thank you.
They are now going to work hard to see who knows their stats to try for a chance to impress Jenny. Take out your calculators, make the scatter plots, find the explanatory response variables, find R and R squared, and plot an LSRL. Good luck! We are now going to take a short commercial break before we take a look at their hard work.
Variable measures an outcome of a study. The explanatory variable helps explain or influences changes in a response variable. The equation of the LSRL is y equals a plus bx. In this equation, the a equals the y-intercept and the b equals the slope. The slope is the amount by which y changes when x increases by 1 unit.
Outlier. Observation that lies outside the overall pattern of the other observations.
Welcome back. Shaquan is now going to get a chance to explain his work.
I was given this set of data. Number of beers is the explanatory variable. Blood alcohol content is the response variable. When I graph the data, this is what it looks like. The LSRL of this set of data is blood alcohol content equals 0.087 plus negative 0.0018 times beers. R squared for this data is 0.019.
Well, what's your correlation?
Negative 0.13.
Oh, yikes. That's really bad.
When looking at the LSRL for the y-intercept, when beers is equal to 0, blood alcohol content is equal to 0.087, which makes sense. For slope, For every increase in beers, the blood alcohol content will decrease by 0.0018. Thank you, Shaquan. Let's now have Kyle come on out.
I was given the set of data. Hours of practice per week is the explanatory variable. Number of wins is the response variable. When I graph this data, this is what it looks like. The LSRL of the set of data is number of wins equals 1.06 plus 0.41 times hours of practice. R squared for this data is 0.57.
Well, what's your correlation?
0.75.
Oh, that's actually fairly normal and average. I like average.
When looking at the LSRL for the y-intercept, when hours of practice is equal to 0, numbers of wins equals 1.06, which makes sense. For slope, for every increase in hours of practice, number of wins will increase by 0.41. Thank you, Kyle. Last but not least, let's have Spencer come on out.
I was given this set of data. IQ is obviously the explanatory variable, and GPA is obviously the response variable. When I graph the data, this is what it looked like. The LSRL of this set of data is IQ equals negative 0.28 plus 0.03 times GPA. R squared for this data is 0.94.
What's your correlation?
0.97.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's nearly perfect. I love a man with a perfect correlation.
When we look at LSRL for the y-intercept, when IQ equals 0, GPA equals negative 0.28, which does not make sense. No negative GPAs. For slope, for every increase in IQ, GPA will increase by 0.03. Thank you, Spencer. We are now going to take a quick break before our next round. Don't go away!
Regression line summarizes the relationship between two variables, but only in a specific setting. Extrapolation. Use of a regression line for predictions outside the range of values of the explanatory x used to obtain the line. Influential observation. Would markedly change the result of the calculation if removed.
For this round, Jenny is now going to ask a series of questions, and if any of the men know the answer, they'll ring a bell. The person with the least amount of right answers will be eliminated at the end.
First question, is correlation resistant?
No, not resistant. Strongly affected by outliers.
Wow, that's correct. Next question. Does extrapolation produce reliable predictions?
No, it's unreliable.
Oh, good job, Kyle. That's right. Third question. What type of relationships do correlation and regression describe?
Only linear relationship.
Wow, that's right, Spencer. Good job. Fourth question. How do you find a residual?
Observed minus predicted.
That's correct. What does correlation measure? Shaquan?
Strength and direction.
That's right. On what axis do you place the explanatory and response variables?
Explanatory goes on the x-axis and response goes on the y-axis.
Wow, good job. How do you get residuals on the calculator? Wow, Spencer again.
In L3, you type in L2 minus Y1 times L1.
What are the four aspects that help show suitability of a linear model?
Scatter plot, correlation, R squared, and residual plot.
Good job. Well, that's it for this game.
That is now the end of round 2. Shaquan, you're the person with the least amount of answers right. I'm sorry, but you're not the perfect fit. You must now leave.
Whatever, yo. I didn't want to be in the show anyways. I have 10 side bays at home.
How are you feeling about the show so far, Jenny?
I'm sad to see Shaquan leave, but it's looking like Spencer might be the perfect fit for me.
Well, that would be extrapolation. We are now going to take a quick break, so don't go away.
Y-intercept is the value of y when x equals 0. Correlation measures the direction and strength of the linear relationships between two quantitative variables, usually written as R. Coefficient of determination. R squared is the fraction of the variance of one variable that is explained by the LSR of the other variable.
Positive association, when above average values of one tend to accompany above average values of the other. Negative association, when above average values of one tend to accompany below average values of the other. We are now on our last game. These men seem so perfect, but they each have a lurking variable no one is seeing. Which one can Jenny deal with? The boys are now going to reveal their lurking variables. Spencer gets weekly manis and petties. Kyle carries his blankie everywhere. Stay tuned to see who Jenny chooses. Scatterplot shows the relationship between two quantitative variables measured on the same individuals. Least squares regression line. The LSRL of y on x is the line that makes the sum of the squared vertical distances of the points of data from the line as small as possible.
Residual. The difference between an observed value of the response variable and the predicted value by the regression line. Observed minus predicted. Lurking variable. Variable that is not among the explanatory or response variables and may influence the interpretation of relationships among those variables.
Welcome back. So which one will it be, Jenny? The blankie hugger or Mr. Pampered?
Well, I think Kyle and his blankie is a little too weird for me. And I love petties too, so Spencer, you're the right fit for me.
I'm sorry, Kyle, but you're not the right fit. Is there anything you would like to say?
I love my blankie more than any woman anyways.
Congratulations, Spencer and Jenny. You won. Join us next time on Finding the Right Fit. See you next time.